students, welcome back to our English class. So today we will be learning about a new poem, that is the fifth chapter from your English book, that is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, that is written by Robert Frost. You have heard about this poet named as Robert Frost. He is a very famous poet. So you know what Robert Frost, whom he is being compared with? Robert Frost is being compared by another great poet whose name is William Wordsworth. Because the reason is because Robert Frost, he composes or writes those kind of poems and stories, you can say, which are based on some certain themes. The themes are basically like loneliness, it's based on man or woman, it's based on humanity, okay, so, or nature, love, this kind of themes. Based on these themes, his poems, he used to write those poems based on this kind of themes. And again, even Robert Frost was given a special honor by a person name as Robert Grove, who Robert Frost was called by another name, that the name was the Voice of America. Okay, he was being also famous, very famous, by a name that is also known as the Voice of America. People used to call him as the Voice of America. So now let us know what's the poem about. So this poem, basically, it is being divided into 4 stanzas. So as you read the poem, as you follow your book and you read the poem, you will find that the stanzas are written in a very simple language, which makes you very familiar with the words, and also you do not find much difficulty while you read the poem because it's written in very simple language. So basically, what I will be doing is that I won't go line to line, but as a whole, when you read those paragraphs, I will be telling you what entire summary of this poem means, what it is trying to tell us about, what is its main theme about. Okay, so let's start. So here, so you, as you follow the picture of your book, you can see that the poet himself is standing at a place where there is a big river, and there are some big tall trees standing on just opposite to its side, and nearby the poet there is a horse of his. Okay, so as you see the picture, you can just get a little bit of a idea that where is he standing. Basically, this kind of beauty we usually find in the forest areas. Okay, dense trees, horses, lakes. So the poem, this poet Robert Frost, which he has written, it is basically composed in the winter season. Okay, as you can read, as you will read the poem, you will find that because there are some words mentioned as snowfall, because in the, you see, in the hot summer days the snow doesn't falls, right? So this poem, basically, as it is written, as it is being mentioned here, that there is a snowfall. So basically we can come to know by this particular word that this poem, it is being composed, or it is being based on a theme on such that the it is written in the winter season. The poet is in the winter season, so he is what he is trying to tell us. So let us know. Okay, so the speaker thinks that the woods, means the trees that are standing just opposite to its sides, is just looks the so dark and so tall. Okay, so and there is one after the tree, one tree just after another. Okay, so whose woods these are? I think I know. His house is in the village. So he says that, so the land area on this big trees are being standing in the forest. So this land, who is the owner of this land? The poet is asking. I think I know that person. Okay, the poet is telling, Robert Frost is addressing this, that maybe he knows who is the owner of this tree, forest, or this particular land area where these tall trees are standing. Again he says that his house may be in the village, because if there would have been any such house in the forest, then he would have definitely seen a cottage, right? But there is no such cottage, it's a dense forest. So he said maybe the owner's house is basically in the village area. Okay, so he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Now you see that this particular snow, when this in the first stanza this snow is being written, we particularly come to know that there is a snowfall in that area, and it is a winter season, it's a very cold season. So the snow, where the snow was falling on the trees, and the poet is telling here that if the owner would have seen me standing here and watching his trees filled up with snow, maybe he wouldn't have allowed me to stand here and watch his trees, because until and unless he gives me the permission to watch his trees, it's not allowed by me to watch. Even though he is not here, but I am watching the trees right here. And now he is telling that, what he is trying to say, you see, maybe the person who is passing by this road, maybe he or she, maybe there is some person. This is not only like Robert Frost is passing through the forest, right? There can be many people passing through the forest. So he said that the people may be also standing here and wondering that who does this land basically belong to, who is the owner. Okay, the owner house, maybe it's far away from the forest, and maybe it's in the village area. Okay, so it is being also told that the speaker thinks his or her house must be behind in a strange to soft, so any signs of civilization indeed. They are surrounded only by forest and a frozen lake on the longest night of the year. So what do you mean by the longest night of the year? When this particular word will be written, that is the longest night of the year, we basically come to know that winter season. This is another hint of winter season. You see, in the summer days we do not have long nights, but in the winter days we have long nights. Okay, so this is the indication or a hint of a winter season. So the poet is telling here that the person means there is no such human civilization here. There is no houses here in the dense forest. So he was being telling that how can he address or how can he tell us that this how can he comes to know that this place is a forest area. Maybe after some 100 trees there can be a cottage, but he doesn't know. But he is telling because all around when he is seeing, he cannot notice even a single cottage there. So there is not even a one cottage in the forest, means a hut, a human hut, means a human house is not there. So he is telling it as that this is a dense forest, he is telling. And the nights are so long, there is a frozen lake beside me, there is also a lake just beside the forest, and where he and his horse, the Robert Frost horse, were standing. So the what is the next stanza is telling, you see, the horse shakes the bell on his harness as if the speaker has made a mistake by stopping. So the poet is telling here, because you see in the horse neck there was a bell. So the poet is telling that maybe the horse is shaking its neck for the reason, and the bell is being ringing. Why? Maybe the horse is trying to tell the Robert Frost that due to some indication that maybe he is not enjoying staying at here, or maybe it's not good to stay at here all alone in the forest. Maybe the horse was giving some kind of indications. So poet is telling. So beside that ring, that tone of that ring, or you can say the sound of that ring which is coming from the bell of the horse, that Robert Frost horse, beside that sound there were another some kinds of sounds heard. So what were those sounds were? So let us see. So as you can see that the winter nights, the evenings are basically dark, and in the snowfall region, and the areas was completely covered with snow. So it gives a little kind of a horror or a haunted what you can say means a vibe to the poet. So maybe the horse was feeling a little bit afraid. So these questions are not being mentioned in this poem, you see. So he says that he harnesses his bell, he moves his bell to ask if someone has made a mistake. And the other sound that the poet can hear, which I have told just now, that the poet can hear the wind that was blowing in the winter season. You see, in the hot days wind blows, but not so cold wind blows, right? So the wind that was blowing through his ears would make some sound, and also he can also find that those sounds of those snow that was falling, it was also making a ripple noise. Okay, so the woods are lovely. So the poet again mentions in the last stanza that the woods are very lovely. So when you can see some kind of just you can imagine a picture that if you find in a forest that there are trees basically built so properly in a row and one after the another, the environment, the beauty that prevails those on those trees, because you can find that they look very beautiful. Because this poem basically it is written about nature, so here it is being talked about the trees, that it looks so beautiful. So the poet is here telling us that in the last stanza the woods are very lovely, they are very useful to us, they are dark and they are deep in color, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. So here in this last stanza he has one line is being repeated, that and miles to go before I sleep. The poet says that this kind of environment that he is enjoying, the woods, the snowfall, the lake, okay, the open environment of the forest, he can only get this for a little bit of time. Okay, but ultimately he has to go more, he cannot stick to that place each and every time, right? So he has to go to his home, then he has to continue his daily activities, is it or not? So for that reason the poet is telling that I have a promise, that I can promise that I will visit this place once again, but I cannot make a promise of staying here all the time. I can just enjoy that moment, or that I can just enjoy that nature moment, means along with nature, just only for a short period of time. Okay, so this is being only basically told about in this poem. So this poem, as overall as you read the poem, you will just come to know that Robert Frost is trying to tell us just all about the nature. When he was standing beside a lake, his horse it was kind of a horror environment to him, not to him, maybe that to the horse, and he was enjoying there was lonely, there was no human civilization there, and at the same time he was enjoying the sounds of the wind, the snowfall, even the trees, the woods of those trees, the beauty that was created, okay, the lake, he was just enjoying. So here in this poem basically he is trying to tell us that only. Okay. I think it's clear to you. Thank you.